10 things you may not know about the Scots language. 1. Scots is considered a distinct language from English, despite many similarities in vocabulary and grammar. It has its own distinct dialects and has been classified as a Germanic language, similar to how Norwegian is considered distinct from Danish. The term Scots is a contraction of the older word Scottis, which was used to refer to the lowland vernacular in contrast to Erse, which was used to refer to Gaelic. 2. The origin of Scots can be traced back to the Angles, a Germanic tribe that settled in Scotland around AD 600. This means that the language has been spoken in Scotland for over 1,400 years. As the lowlands of Scotland came under heavy influence from Old English, which was brought by the Anglian settlers, as well as Latin, which was the language of the church and learning. These languages influenced the vocabulary, grammar and pronunciation of the developing Scots language. 3. During the Middle Ages, Scots was the dominant language in Scotland, spoken by the country's rulers and used in literature and official records. This period in history is referred to as the Golden Age of Scots literature. This caused the decline of the Gaelic language in Scotland, which had previously been dominant north of the Tay River. 4. The phonology of the Scots language is distinct from Standard English, having some sounds that are exclusive of it, like some vowel sounds and the use of diphthongs, having influence of Celtic languages over it, that is not present in Standard English. Scots has its own distinct vowel system, with 19 different vowel sounds, including short and long variations of the sounds I and E. 5. The Scots language has 4 main dialects, which are further divided into 10 subdialects. Each dialect has its own distinct features, including pronunciation, vocabulary, and grammar. Ulster Scots is spoken in Northern Ireland and is heavily influenced by Irish and English. Insular Scots is spoken in the Outer Hebrides, Orkney and Shetland Islands and is a mix of Norse and Gaelic. Central Scots is spoken in the Central Lowlands and is heavily influenced by English. Border Scots is spoken on the Anglo-Scottish border and is a mix of both English and Scots. 6. In the 16th century, the Scottish nobility began to adopt English as the language of prestige, leading to a decline in the use of Scots. This language shift was further encouraged during the 18th and 19th centuries by the British government's efforts to Anglicise the Scottish population. After the Union of 1707, when Scotland joined England to form the Kingdom of Great Britain, the use of Scots was discouraged by many in authority and education, as was the notion of Scottishness itself. 7. In the 18th and 19th centuries, the use of Scots as a literary language was revived by several prominent writers, such as Robert Burns, who established a new cross-dialect literary norm. Burns was deeply influenced by the traditional folk songs of Scotland, and his study of these songs helped him develop his mastery of the Scottish language and his ability to choose the right words for his poetry. Burns's reworking of a traditional song Auld Lang Syne illustrates how he took old phrases and lines and wove them into new patterns. 8. In recent years, there has been a language revitalization movement in Scotland aimed at preserving and promoting the use of Scots. This has included efforts to incorporate the language in education and media, as well as promoting its use in literature and other cultural expressions. Since 2016, the national newspaper has regularly published some news articles in the language. 9. Scots was included in the Scottish National School curriculum in the 2010s, raising its status as a language. The Scottish Government set its first Scots language policy in 2015, pledging to support the preservation and use of the language. There have been an increasing number of English books translated in Scots and becoming widely available, particularly children's fiction series such as Harry Potter and David Walliams. 10. Based on the hearth and poll taxes of the 1690s, it is estimated that there were about 750,000 speakers of Scots in Scotland at that time, representing about 70% of the population. However, The 2011 Scottish census found that there were 1.5 million speakers of Scots in Scotland, making up about 30% of the population. This suggests that the language is still vibrant, but the percentage of speakers of the language has decreased over time.